Far left activist judges continue to undermine President Trump's agenda. This time, an Obama-appointed judge in Florida issuing a ruling that temporarily halted construction at the Immigration Detention Center in Florida, the one dubbed Alligator Alcatraz. But that is not stopping the DHS from moving forward with plans to build a new detention center, this one in Indiana, the Speedway Slammer, that the department says will hold up to 1,000 of the worst criminal illegal aliens. And by the way, with the rate at which they're being arrested, the detention space is needed. Yesterday, federal agents in a Penske truck descended on a Home Depot in L.A., leading to 16 arrests in an area that authorities say has a very large MS-13 presence. Now, while President Trump is doing everything he can do to get our country back to safety and security and to get rid of all the unvetted Harris, Biden, Mayorkas illegals, you know, known terrorists and murderers and rapists and other violent criminals, gang members, cartel members, drug dealers. Anyway, Democrats are doing everything they can do to stop this. One Democratic state senator, Arizona, has been tipping off ICE operations in her area, which, according to DHS spokesperson Tricia McLaughlin, could lead to charges. Here with more, Trump administration border czar Tom Homan. It never ends. I don't know if you saw my opening monologue. I want to play for you. This is about 15 to 20 years ago. This is Nancy Pelosi on the issue of immigration. And I want you to hear it, and maybe you can analyze what has happened to that party.
Democrats support also enforcing laws, current laws, against those who came here illegally and those who hire illegal immigrants. Yet the Bush administration has refused to do just this.
What happened to that Democratic Party?
Man, how times have changed on the Biden administration. ICE wasn't even allowed to arrest an illegal alien. Yeah, Secretary Mayorkas told ICE, you can't arrest somebody for being here illegally. They got to be convicted of a serious crime before you even target them for arrest. And now the left is losing their mind that everybody we arrest, I look at that data every morning, Sean, 70% of everybody we arrest is a criminal. The other 30%, national security threats, final orders, people who had due process, a great taxpayer expenditure order removed by judge, by law, we got to remove them. So the numbers are great, right? But now the left is saying they're not criminal enough. I saw a story the other day. Only 1% of deportees are murderers. Really? That is a new level. And another story says, well, a lot of them are DUIs. DUI is a public safety threat where 10,000 people a year die from DUI. So now the story is the 70% criminals aren't criminal enough. We removed a record number of public safety threats and national security threats under the Trump administration. He's keeping his promise to American people. We're making this country safer every day.
Okay, so the new favorite game of Democrats, their new favorite strategy is to talk about internment camps and concentration camps and Alligator Alcatraz, and this judge put this ruling in place, but you are planning to build out a new holding facility in Indiana. You really do need the space, but let's call it what it really is. Wouldn't that be called jail for people that didn't respect the laws, our borders, our sovereignty? In other words, what Nancy Pelosi was saying. And isn't it basically temporary because most of those people would be deported over time?
Most of them would be deported within days or weeks. But Alligator Alcatraz, I was down there Monday. I walked through the food preparation area. Fantastic. I went through the medical facility. Top notch. I went through the detention facility. Air conditioning was fine. I asked about the reports of clergy not being allowed. They show me the books where the clergy's been in there. They show me the books. There have been no trauma cases. I went there. This is the same type of facility that FEMA employees would be in when they respond to a catastrophic event. This is a well-planned facility. I was there. So the stories about this is false. And now a judge is going to stop construction. Has that judge been there? Has he done what I did? Did he do a walkthrough? Did he talk to the medical personnel? Did he talk to the detention officers? Did he talk to the clergy that's been in there? Of course, the judge is making a decision, another radical decision to try to shut down the Trump administration. But look, we need 100,000 beds. That's what we asked for in the big, beautiful bill. That is what we need. Guys like me with decades of experience, we need 100,000 beds, and that's what we're working for. One piece at a time. The facility in Indiana, another 1,000 beds. I appreciate the governor stepping up and helping the Trump administration make this country safe again.
Okay, so you need all these beds. Are you also hiring more agents? And what do you do when you have politicians that are tipping off the criminals that raids are coming, which endangers law enforcement in the process?
Well, the recruiting is sky high. I mean, I told a story a few weeks ago. I had a LinkedIn account I had to shut down because I got thousands of emails every day of military, police officers, retired agents wanting to come back. And as far as what's happening with these politicians, DOJ needs to step up and prosecute these people. I think it's impediment. I think it's interference. And we already have a record number of prosecutions for 18 U.S.C. 111, which is impediment, interference, and assault. We got to keep prosecuting these people and send a strong message. Enough's enough. Zero tolerance.
To me, it's aiding and abetting. To me, it's obstruction of justice. To me, it's a slam dunk legally. Tom Homan, always good to see you. Thank you, sir. Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.